All right, sports debaters. This is the podcast with Weezy in July. We have a special guest podcast member up in here, Brandon Wilkinson. Y'all been asking for a guest speaker to come say their opinions, but we got Wilk here. Will,
Yo,
go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
hey man, Brandon Wilkinson, straight out of Alexandria. We repping the Hawks today. We repping
Oh
the Hawks
man,
today,
oh
man. True to Atlanta, man.
that's true.
Look, just happy to be on, man. Looking forward to a good little show today. I think it's gonna be great. Got some knowledgeable guys, man. So let's get it.
All right. Well, basically, what we're gonna be doing today's sports debaters, we each gonna be giving our three All NBA teams. Now they're gonna have a lot of different views, so we're gonna explain why we got those players where they at anyway. Weezy, you got anything to say before we start?
Hey, yeah, welcome sports debaters. Welcome, Brandon. Thank you for joining us, bro. We definitely appreciate having you. I will say, like, I was actually talking to you guys off camera prior to this, that it's kind of weird, man. As far as the NBA, there's a few things they don't do well. One thing they don't do well is positionality. It applies to both the All-Star and the All-NBA teams that you'll see players are not the positions that we view them, or it makes it difficult to place them. So we were talking about there is a conundrum with Anthony Davis. I would love to put him at center on the first team, but he's listed as a forward on the All-Star. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. Everybody looks at this dude as a shooting guard, right? But he's listed as a forward in the All-Star games as well. So these are difficulties that we're gonna have to just deal with and maneuver. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that I know a lot of times if you guys have complaints or if people in sports debaters have complaints, I'll need to take them complaints up with the NBA office, because they are not good with positions and figuring out how to put stuff together. But sports debaters, that's what we're here for. We the geniuses behind the scenes trying to sort it all out and make it happen, man. So I'll let you take over, July.
All right, well, we're gonna start out with the first All NBA team. I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna start off with my two guards I got. I think this is pretty obvious. The two guards, first guard James Harden, easily averaging 34 points this year. His assists went down a little bit, but that's because Russell Westbrook on the team. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, he's shooting his career average 44%. Not bad. 6 rebounds per game. James Harden, I gotta give it to him. First All NBA again. My second guard, I'm gonna go with Luka. Second season in the league. I believe he just turned 21. He averaging close to 30, 9 rebounds, almost 9 assists. Like, he putting up LeBron career numbers right now. That's what Luka doing. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Luka as my second guard on my All NBA team. Now, as far as the three forwards go, I'm just start off with the obvious one, who I think will be MVP this year. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greek freak.
Close enough. You good? You sound like you had COVID for a second. You just sneezing. Like, oh man, kazoo tight.
I mean, not only is this guy averaging close to 30 points and 13 rebounds, I think what get lost his passing abilities, man. This dude is averaging 6 assists as well, shooting 54% from the field. Worked on his 3-point shot this year. I mean, the first game against the Lakers this year, the Lakers tried to play bag, like they bagged off against him like he was Ben Simmons. He ended up in 5 threes that game. Was unstoppable that game. And my last 2 spots on the All NBA team, I'm gonna give it to the 2 teammates. The reason LeBron won't win MVP this year because he got another All NBA first teamer playing on his team. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, probably the best duo in the league right now. So I'm gonna give them 2 my other 2 slots on the All NBA team.
I got a disagreement, baby. We got a disagreement. So I'm gonna let Brandon go ahead and hit him with it. But that's a good list, though. As far as you had a good rationalization and explanation behind each pick, and I like that, the fact that you put some thought behind it. But reaction and your team, Will, what do you think, man?
All right, this the thing. So the team that I picked is exactly like that. I struggle with it at first because in that center spot at first, I actually had a true center because I wasn't sure on, like you said, the NBA. You just can never tell. So I didn't know because Anthony Davis, he didn't start one game this year as a center, not one.
Right.
So I really struggled and I went back and forth with that. But I ended up keeping him right there because if that was the case, we could have listed LeBron James as a guard because he started every game as a point guard.
Point guard, exactly. And I was wanting to put him as a point.
It's kind of tough. But the reason why I selected Anthony Davis in that spot is because, and we talked briefly off camera, I believe there's so many forwards that are deserving of all NBA a selection. You know what I mean? So I chose Anthony Davis just so I can slide an extra forward. And I think that might come to play when we get to that third team. But I agree with you. I'm 100%. That's what I have. James Harden, Luka, LeBron, Giannis, and Anthony Davis. I think when you look at them across the board, they're all top tier in efficiency. They're all top tier in win shares. When you break down all the analytics, I don't think you can discredit any of these guys. And all of them are playing for teams that are contenders.
Nice.
We can see all of these guys make a run. I mean, I know it's a lot of variables that's to that, but they all over 500. All of them have at least 40 wins. So I don't think you can go wrong with either of those five right there.
Okay. You know what? That's well stated. Especially talking about the efficiency. So I could definitely understand the rationality. I do have one variance, one difference from what you guys have, but that's the same thing. It's really not our fault. So y'all are trying to basically delineate, what you guys think is right, and then what the NBA thinks is right. So we're trying to fight that whole position battle with them. I'm not going to, hit you with the Stephen A again, like talking about you're wrong, and here's why. What I'm saying? I'm not going to hit you with that. But I will say on my center position, I'm going to just go ahead and go with the bomb. I got Jokic. Period. I got Jokic as a center above Embiid. Embiid has missed way too many games, period, point blank. And then I got him above Gobert because the way I look at Jokic is everything that he's bringing as far as intangibles and tangibles to the game. He is literally almost like a point guard at the center position, the way he plays the game. So I do have Jokic starting, but everything else I agree with, especially on Luka. You mentioned that he's putting up Braun numbers. Let's be real. At 20 years old, Luka's putting up better than Braun numbers. That's the empirical fact. That's not me jockeying. That's not me coming up with nothing like that. That's looking at empirical data, doing empirical research, and seeing the pure stats. This dude is better at 20 years old than LeBron has been at 20 years old. Now, was that going to plateau off? Is this dude going to be better than LeBron? Hell no. Obviously. We all know that. That's not even a question. But the fact remains that he came in kind of like in a man-boy body. He came in, he won a European championship in Spain. So you see kind of a little poise. I think the only thing he deals with right now that's a difficulty is physicality. The only thing that he has a hard time with. But as far as the rest of the team, I do agree with you guys. As far as the I have Luka at the guard, James Harden at the guard, Giannis, the obvious MVP choice as well for me, LeBron, and then I got Jokic. And that's just the way. And the reason why I came up with that is just because I believe that you should have a true center. I do kind of doing what I feel the NBA is not good at doing. But AD he plays first team level quality. But in my opinion, so does Kawhi. But Kawhi has his own situation where he's doing the low management. So it's the same thing. When I look at these positions and I look at the all-star position, and I see AD's listed as a forward, Jimmy Butler listed as a forward. It just forced my hand to actually have to put Kawhi and AD on the second team. So but that's basically who I got. Do y'all have a reaction to that, July? Anybody?
Jokic. We're gonna talk about that when we get to the second team.
Okay.
But like I was saying, I kind of figured that our first team would be all close to the same, basically. Only difference is you got Jokic. But I'm ready to start the second team. I think this way is gonna get interesting. So Reese, I know you ended the first team. Go ahead and begin the second team. Who you got on your second team?
Okay, my second team is different. I'll tell you that right off top. My second team is different. One person I want to just shout out that I know is probably going to be a very obvious acknowledgement that we got to just at least say that we see you guys as far as people who aren't playing. So let's talk about Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Steph Curry played a little bit, but just not enough games for me to be placed where. So I just want to shout out these people. Normally, our first or second teamers, every time.
Right.
So these dudes. So it's been a what you would call maybe like a paradoxical or kind of a paradigm shift as far as there's guys that we're used to seeing their names every year that we're not gonna see their names right now. So me picking this team is a very strange. It looks weird just looking at the team when I look at the team. I'm gonna start it off with Dame Dollar, man. Period. Point blank. I don't want to hear anybody talking about him and CJ need to play defense because they never will. Just give it up. That's not gonna happen. They're not playing defense. He's a 6'5" guard. This dude can score anywhere. I mean, he could drop a 60 piece like it's nothing. I think he got a post today in Sports Debaters in the group saying who would you have drop a 60 piece, and it was tough to point out of him and Gil Zero.
I think it was 40.
Yeah, who can drop 40? But I mean, when you think about somebody who has unbelievable range, he does have a Curry-like long distance 3-pointer. He is, carrying the team, and I'm not looking at because one thing I could say about Portland Trailblazers is they have underperformed. Even though I've seen great play coming out of Skinny Mello, before he was Skinny Mello. And we're seeing that they just got Nurkic back, which is huge for that squad. I'm not looking at your team because I heard Wilk say 500 earlier. I'm not going to look at a team and penalize them overall for the team because this isn't NBA voting. This isn't, MVP voting. So my consideration is really going more individuality. If that makes sense. So I have Dame Dollar. My number it was weird. Even me writing it down kind of hurt me, man. Like my fingers started burning on the paper, man. I didn't want to say this, but I got CP3. I have Chris Paul as my second guard. And the reason why is just because of his, not even statistically, the efficiency and everything like that, because of what he's doing in the clutch as well. I'm a guy who, my reasoning is very similar to what you would hear from like Herm Edwards. You play to win the game, period. I'm playing to win the game. This dude is out here winning games. Point blank. I can show you 4 to 5 different games in a row. This dude literally willed Oklahoma City Thunder to win. They have no business being where they're at. They have no business. And it's not MVP voting. Individuality as a point guard. I want a point guard who can run an offense, who can facilitate the whole thing, and who can play decent defense at his old ass age and still in the clutch make big shots, big passes. Really, it's a lot more big shots than big passes coming from CP3 to close out games. So my fours, it's obvious I have AD and Kawhi. Because y'all both had AD in the first team, so I have Kawhi in there as well. Obviously it's for load management. I mean, this is a dude who's having a first team type talent, but he does not have the games played. Right? Have Gobert. Because I'm just going to stick with doing true centers. I'm tired of people putting forwards as centers. I'm not hating, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, I got to put a center at center. So my 5 people are Dame, CP3, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and then I got Rudy Gobert. So I'm going to shoot it to July. I want you just a reaction, and then maybe your team as well.
Rudy Gobert, no.
Yeah, I've seen some faces, like bitter beer faces and shit. When I'm doing my thing, he's making bitter beer faces.
That's all I'm gonna say about Rudy Gobert. No.
He said no. COVID, Mr. COVID.
I mean, Kawhi. I got him on the second team too because he would be on the first team if it wasn't for load management.
Okay.
Easy.
Why no to Gobert? I don't
know. That's debatable.
Why dude?
If Kawhi wouldn't load manage, I would actually put Kawhi on my first team
That's tough. That's tough.
Over. Huh?
As a
listen to what I'm saying. Over LeBron. Why? Because if Kawhi didn't lose, I think the Clippers win more games, have a better record than the Lakers. Kawhi wouldn't lose, man.
LeBron got the Lakers #1 in the league in assists.
Managed a game against Milwaukee one year. I mean, this year he didn't play. It came on national TV. It came on national TV, and he set out that game.
So, but LeBron's leading the league in assists. Is that not like
LeBron leading the league in assists? AD leading the team in every other statistical category.
In literally every other category.
Every other category.
Literally.
And AD not even in MVP talks.
Well, because some people would respond to that and say, okay, that's true. AD leads in every category, but when AD doesn't play and LeBron plays, the Lakers win. But when LeBron doesn't play and AD plays, the Lakers lose. What do you say?
The team is best fitted around LeBron. That's what happens. The team is best fitted around LeBron. The team was built to fit LeBron, not AD. Now, LeBron couldn't have went on New Orleans and played with a player like Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday fitted AD. Rondo fitted AD, but they wouldn't fit LeBron. Kyrie fit LeBron, but Kyrie wouldn't fit playing with AD. It's just how you build your team.
Okay, it's a continuity. It's the chemistry and the continuity.
Yeah, it's no knock on LeBron, but the team just built around him better than AD. AD is part of the team that's built around LeBron.
Well, quick question for Will then. Quick question for you, Will. What do you think about people that say, I know Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick, I'm gonna call him Kendrick Perk like Future when you talk about put the perks with the Molly. That's the Kendrick Perkins. He's on them perks. But Kendrick Perkins recently said the Lakers would not make the playoffs without LeBron. And then he said the Bucks would be good if they didn't have Green. What do you think? What do you respond to that as far as Bron's importance to the Lakers? Do you think that's true?
First of all, man, I want to just say Big Perk just eat lost out here. he really just out here talking. You can't give everybody a microphone, dog.
Dang.
You can't do that. First of all, I would say if the Lakers had AD, take LeBron off, that would still be a playoff team. I don't think they're in the upper echelon. It'll be similar to AD's tenure in New Orleans. I mean, you can make the playoffs, but you're not really a threat to do anything once you're there. If you take Giannis off the Bucks, they the Hawks.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Let's go keep it real.
Man, the worst team in the squad in the league.
Man, look, them people fighting for a top 3 pick, man. Middleton's not built like that. Middleton has decent, but that's because that's off of Giannis.
Yeah, exactly. You can almost say Lopez might be the best player. You know what I'm saying? If Middleton wasn't there, if there was no Greek, Lopez might be the dude trying to get games won and stuff.
Right. I mean, you still have penetrating kick. I think you'll have more. You have Eric Bledsoe with the ball more, trying to penetrate kick. But I think Chris Middleton's game's built off of Giannis doing what he's doing, and you kind of just spotting up, and you eating off of that. You take Giannis off that team, man, nobody's getting those type of open looks. It's not happening.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in Bledsoe. What do you think about what Perkins said, July? It's talking about LeBron, talking about the Lakers would not make the playoffs in the West.
Lakers would be about a 7-8 seed, maybe most likely 7.
Bucks, so kind of like AD in New Orleans.
Bucks this year, let's see. So the Magic 30 and 35. Bucks without Giannis. Maybe there'll be a 9 seed. There'll be a game above Washington. So
barely missed the playoffs. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what's your second squad? Go ahead. My bad to interrupt you, man.
I got my first guard. I got Russell Westbrook. Now I know I did a segment a couple of weeks ago about Russell Westbrook and CP3, how CP3 is more valuable to OKC.
Oh, you making my argument. Let's go.
I know I did that segment, but all NBA teams, we talk about the best players, not the most valuable players. And before this coronavirus stuff, Russell Westbrook was having an MVP caliber couple of months.
Absolutely.
Couple of months, he was playing at MVP level. He was the best player on the Rockets, like a couple of months before this coronavirus stuff, especially after Capella got traded to the Atlanta Hawks.
That's facts.
I mean, his shooting percentages is up this year, 47% for the year. That's real good. That's real. I know we used to LeBron shooting 50 and 52%. We thinking that you got to shoot 50% to be efficient, but shooting above 46%, that's real efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
47% for Russell Westbrook, that's a step up. So I got Russell Westbrook as my first guard.
That's like 70% for Westbrook, but
yeah.
My second guard, I know I might turn some heads. It was between him and Dame Dollar. But I got Bradley Beal as my second guard.
Oh, Bradley Beal.
He going for ratings with that pick.
I mean, I can give Bradley Beal like the MVP of the Wizards. I'll give him that. Like, hey, you the best Wizard, baby. That's what you get. You the best Wizard. But I don't know.
Hey, the best thing that happened to Bradley Beal was John Wall getting injured. Because now we see the full repertoire of Bradley Beal. Could handle the rock. He even could play a little defense, which is really surprising. He could shoot from anywhere. He is a great finisher. He missed the All-Star game this year. He averaged 30 points.
How do you feel about that? Him getting snubbed?
I definitely would have put Bradley Beal over Kemba Walker in the All-Star game. Definitely. Without a question. Yeah, dude, I think only him and Harden is averaging 30 points this year. I mean, Bill, he averaging 6 assists, which that also leads the team. The reason I got Bill over Dame, because I feel like Bill is out there offensively by himself. I feel he's out there for Washington. I think I be watching some Wizards games and he just be out there by himself, like by himself.
Porter's gone, right? Like they gave him a max and then they traded him, right? Or is he still? Is Porter?
Out of Porter?
Yeah, they got rid of him. Okay, so yeah,
Chicago.
I remember he got a bag and then they did that. Okay, so it's just Bill, and then who does Bill have to pass to? Who?
Rui Hashima, whatever his name is.
I don't know.
So it's all Bill.
Rookie, man. The little rookie from where you came from, Gonzaga.
Okay.
Rui Hashimura. Well, I don't know how to say on that.
So basically, Bill is by himself. Okay.
So, and obviously, I already told you about Kawhi. I think he on the second team. My center, I got Joel Embiid as my center for the second team. What made me pick Embiid over Jokic? I think Embiid just a better player.
So you don't care that Embiid played like damn near 20 less something games. Like Embiid missed a lot of games, bro.
I know. I feel you. I think he's just better. The only thing Jokic do better than Embiid is pass the rock. I mean, but Embiid, he's a better scorer. I
almost feel like we should stop giving Embiid passes. I'm about to say this is what it is. So we know the dude's been hurt, right? He's been hurt for the past few years. He loves to talk a big game on social media. He's a big clown, big funny guy, does all this stuff. I'm gonna be real with you. Simmons has had a better year than Embiid. Simmons has been the one. If you want to talk about the non-jumpiness having this dude, the non-jumper is having this dude. Ben Simmons with no jumper has did more for the Sixers this year than Embiid has. As far as winning games, not missing games. You know what I'm saying? And then when you play, you win. So I just gotta. I look at Embiid as like, man, he got one more year to like start being healthy and start winning games. Like the last thing I look about that dude is the crying, the cry face. The Kawhi hit that shot. Last thing I remember.
Hey, he couldn't do nothing about that. Kawhi. First of all, Kawhi traveled on that play. Second of all, that was one of the best fadeaways I ever seen. And you know, I grew up a Jordan fan. That was one of the best fadeaways I ever seen. He could. So, And my last player I got on the second team, I got Jayson Tatum.
That's good. I had that's good.
I think he was player of the month in February, if I'm not mistaken, when he averaged 30 points. Like, man.
Yeah, he was on fire for like 2 months.
Man, I think the best thing that happened to Jayson Tatum was Kyrie Irving being injured for them his rookie year in the playoffs. Like, because he got a chance to. He had to grow fast because Gordon Hayward injured, Kyrie Irving injured, went up head to toe with LeBron in a 7-game series his rookie year. Now this year we starting to see him as a number one option with his sidekick Jaylen Brown. But Jayson Tatum, I mean, I know the numbers not really reflecting. He averaging 24 points, that's 16 in the league, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. But he had this game against the Clippers. A double overtime game against the Clippers. But he went toe-to-toe with Kawhi, and he actually was scoring buckets, like easy buckets.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And that's the game that put him on my second All-NBA team because he ready. At 21 years old, 22 years old, I think he's ready for the jump. So I got Jayson Tatum as my last forward spot on the second All-NBA.
So run the 5 down again. So you started off with do your 5.
I got Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi, Jayson Tatum, and Joel Embiid.
Yeah, okay. And so Tatum has been I'll be like almost like as far as just how he got really high. He kind of started off the season kind of basic, but then he just got hot and he took off. So I do want to show that young boy some love because he's. I mean, he looks like a seasoned vet. That's crazy. He looks seasoned. So Will, what is your well, first I guess your second team, or do you want to respond first?
Oh yeah, I want to respond. Yeah.
Respond real quick.
I think it's some good picks, but I would say at some point, I know we talking about talent, right? So, and that's how you get your players on the All NBA teams. But at some point, the talent has to translate into wins. You know what I mean? Because what are you really doing? So, I feel like you got to have some type of, I don't know, man. Sometimes you gotta have wins in there, in my opinion.
Celtics a third seed. Celtics a third seed, just to let you know.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get to my list, but I was just speaking solely on Bill. Now I get it that Bill, he's in Washington by himself. Same with Dame. They under 500 as well, but I think the things that Dame dealt with, you had Zach Collins and you had Nurkic. Both of those guys were out all season. Then you trying to integrate Carmelo Anthony, trying to see how he fits in the offense. So I think it was a little bit of trial and error throughout the season. But I love looking at play efficiency ratings and win shares. When you look at Dame Lillard, it's upper echelon. You know what I'm saying? Like efficiency is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And we talking about right at 46% from the field, is like 45.7, and you looking at tough shots. This is not layups. That's logo Lillard. Logo Dame. So, and you talking about right at 46%. So I gotta go Dame as my first guard on that second team. My second guard, I gotta go with CP3. I mean, you're looking at his age. Well, CP3, 33, 34 years old. He plays
35. No, he's 35.
He played 63 games this year. That's crazy. He's putting
that man putting on Ben Gay, and he's still killing them boys, boy.
18, 5, and 7. I don't know, man. I think you can't sleep on the fact that team's 40 and 24. If you swap him, I don't think that team goes 40 and 24 if you swap him and Russ back. That team's not 40 and 24.
Yeah, I agree.
So I really believe you can't really measure everything by numbers. That's why we have our eyes to see the eye test. And Chris Paul does a lot. I think of it kind of like a shutdown corner in the NFL. They may not have the stats, but you ain't throwing over there. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a floor general, I think they impact the game so much, and it doesn't really show up on the stat line from communication, getting boys in the right sets offensively, all different types of things like that kind of go unnoticed, which we'll be able to see now because There's no fans. We'll better hit him directly in traffic out there, man. I'm excited about that. But so that's my two guards. My two forwards, of course, Kawhi Leonard. We already know about Kawhi. Y'all both talked about him, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time there. And then the second one, man, I kind of struggled with. It was out of Tatum and this guy, but I went with this guy because I like to drive the Tatumites, man. So I went with Pascal Siakam.
Man, hey, I almost put him, dog. That's a good choice.
And this is why when you put their numbers side by side, they're the same person. And the reason why I went with Siakam is because when you think about Boston, you got Jaylen Brown, who's a 20-point scorer. You got Kemba Walker, who's a 20-point scorer. You got Gordon Hayward, who's a 20-point scorer. You don't have that in Toronto. You got Van Fleet, but we really gonna sit up here and rely on Kyle Lowry?
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? And for them to be number two in the East. So they do have a better record than Boston. So for me, that's what separated the two. And that's the only reason why I went with Siakam. I'm not mad at the Tatum pick right there. But I went Siakam. And since I went Anthony Davis as my center on the first team, I went with Jokic as my center on the second team because the dude played 21 more games than Embiid.
Exactly.
I think that has to account for something because we're penalizing Kawhi Leonard for load management. That's why he's on the second team. So Embiid has to drop if you miss, you play 21 less games. Jokic putting up 20 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and he's shooting 52% from the field. Granted, everything's pretty much in the paint, but he got a little midi with him. His player efficiency rating, like I said, I always speak on it. It's 25. That's upper echelon in the league, and he's accounted for 9.2 with his win shares. And Denver's position in the standings, man. I think that's mainly because of him. So that's my team: Dame Lillard, Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Pascal Siakam, and Jokic.
Man, I want to first say, man, the Siakam was a great pick because I actually struggled looking at their numbers side by side. I was shocked at how close Siakam and Tatum really were, and you were 100% right as far as we see that both dudes are the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at Boston, you think Tatum. No, everybody on the team kind of knows it at this point. I think even the point guard, Kemba and Jaylen Brown and all the boys, they know that, Tatum is the guy. But when you look at Toronto, there is no question. Nate Nurse knows it. Lowry knows it. Ibaka, nobody has any question that Siakam is the guy. And what's crazy is he started doing it prior to Kawhi, but he really, amped it up during the championship year with Kawhi. But it's like they didn't let off no foot off the gas after Kawhi left. It almost seems like they don't miss him. It almost seems like that way as far as regular season. We'll probably see that discrepancy change. But I want to also commend you, Wilk, on the, I'll call it conceptual consistency. Conceptual consistency. Because if we're going to punish Kawhi for load management, we have to punish Embiid. And this is my African brother. I'm not trying to hate on my brother. You know what I'm saying? But I got to be real, bro. This dude talks a big game. He misses a hell of a lot of damn games.
Yeah, you're right,
you know what I'm saying? That's part of it, man, because your best ability is availability. So as far as when you speak about Tatum and Siakam, that to me is the toughest call, period. But I definitely agree with you on CP3 because it's just not a sexy pick. But again, like we said, there's players that would already be first and second team if it was healthy. They're not here. So CP3, what he did, him and Tatum almost have a very similar thing where if you look at them, they're plus minus monsters.
Right.
These dudes are plus minus monsters. When they're not on the court, your team loses. And when I look at value, I have to look at it that way. So I agree with you, man, as far as CP3. I'm glad that somebody was with me. I thought I was jumping off the cliff. I said CP3 on the second team. I'm like, I got like a geriatric ward. I got this dude got a cane and a wheelchair, and he's coming out on the court. But I'm surprised, man. And one thing I've always thought about CP3, or I always heard rumors as far as his ego, even though he's a great leader and he's correct in what he says, he doesn't know how to say it. So it created beef with Blake Griffin and Clippers. It created a little beef with David West and on the Hornets way long before. And he actually created a little bit of beef with DeAndre Jordan as well. So I've heard rumors that CP3 is almost like a toxic cancer. And then when we saw that him and Harden bumped heads, I couldn't tell who was the bigger diva, because we all know Harden is a diva. But I was thinking, man, maybe CP3 is a diva too. But I want to say, man, I'm taking a step back. With new information, your opinion may change. That's one thing Chris Carter used to say on Get Up or whatever on first tape. But I believe the same thing. Like, CP3 has shown a new, more humble look, basically, where he's buying suits for everybody on OKC. They all young as hell. He took Shea Gilchrist-Alexander under his belt, and he's not making it a adversarial relationship. He's making it more of a mentor-mentee relationship. I gotta say, man, and then Steven Adams, a lot of people are saying CP3 is a great leader, a very humble guy, and he's leading by example. But I gotta admit, man, he is a plus-minus monster. When you look at the empirical data, and you look at the stats, there's a multivariance analysis. And this dude is not only winning games, but his team is exponentially better when he's on the court. So I don't want to be – it's easy to look at these big names like Russell Westbrook. I see a big name, Russell Westbrook. I see a big name, Jayson Tatum. But then you get caught up in these big names, and it's myopic. You get to where you almost like sleep on what's really happening. So I'm trying to look at numbers more than I'm looking at names, and that's why I agree. CP3 is the second best – second NBA second team. But I want to hear, actually, let's start off with you, Wilkes. If we're snaking it, that means you got to start with the most difficult. This is the most difficult one. The third team is the most controversial.
I had fun right here. So, of course, my number one guard for the third team, I'm going with Russell Westbrook. You're looking at 27 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. We know it. He's a stat sheet stuffer, shooting 47% from the field. We know what this guy brings to the table. And I think Russ is very, very dangerous when he realizes his own potential when he's not taking bad shots. Man, get to the cup. Get to the cup, man. Like, nobody's stopping this dude, man. I'm talking about unmatched athleticism. So of course he's gonna take that first guard spot. Number 2, my second guard, we going Bradley Beal. The numbers are ridiculous, man. 30 points a game, man. It's ridiculous. But I'm not gonna spend too much time there on Bill. My first forward, Jayson Tatum. I gotta go Tatum here. Like I said, I struggled between him and Siakam, but ultimately I went with Jayson Tatum for the third team. My other forward, I went with Jimmy Butler. I got Jimmy Butler just for what he did with Miami and how he changed that culture. Those guys are working hard out there. The numbers aren't sexy. Don't get me wrong. They're decent, 26 and 6. You know what I mean? 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So 45% from the field. The Heat sitting at 41 and 24, so he's definitely gotten down to Miami and changed the culture. And I think my third team center is what's going to be the most surprising. And I did this because I think this guy is so versatile. He's a very versatile defender. He's probably
no. I think you're about to say who I think. My guy,
Bam Adebayo, man.
Oh, man.
I got Bam.
Picks, man.
Because Bam can guard. He can check guards. You know what I'm saying? Like they lose nothing when they run. You run a pick and roll and you switch the big over to a guard. You losing nothing. Like Bam out here checking point guards. You know what I'm saying? So, and then not to mention, man, he's putting up 5 assists a game. So he's developing a little bit of a kind of like a point center mentality, get the ball and take off on the break and hitting open teammates, shooting 56% from the field. I like Bam in this spot. And the most notable name that's missing off my list, man, is Joel Embiid. And I think the games that he missed hurt him severely. And then the other one that I struggle with is, should I put Bam or Rudy? And I left Rudy off my list just because I don't think he's as versatile as a defender as Bam. Now, in the paint,
he's unbelievable. Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, when you just look at down the stretch with Utah, man, you can kind of get them to take Rudy Gobert out of the game if you go with that small ball lineup. But he just don't he don't fit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that hurts him in that aspect. I almost put Trae Young in there just because.
Oh, don't do that.
But
don't do that. Hey, but I got a question for you, man. Like, actually, based on your analysis, this kind of popped in my head. Would you make the case for Bam to be Defensive Player of the Year over Rudy Gobert?
I would actually. So you
based
got
on your analysis, it sounds like you made that case.
Well, what I'm saying, you got Gobert winning it.
No, well, my thing, I hate Gobert every time he wins it. I kind of do because I feel like kind of what you said, he's a one-dimensional, he's a unidimensional defender where it's really just paint. When you pull him out of the paint, he's useless.
Right.
So there's nothing, Bam to me is a way better defender than Gobert in every low, in my opinion.
But if you're talking about the award, now I don't think he'll win it, but I think he's a more versatile defender than Gobert. But the thing is, the numbers won't show that. You know what I'm saying? You'll really have to dig deep into analytics just to see that. Oh man, this dude Bam really, you lose nothing with him. Gobert, I mean, you look at that 2 blocks a game.
Exactly. And the plus minus.
When you look at numbers, raw numbers, Anthony Davis' numbers are actually better than both in both defensive categories. But that's for another day.
Yeah.
Just for here right now, I'm going Bam on my third team.
Out of the two. And I agree with you, actually. I think that AD is the shoe-in for Defensive Player of the Year. But I will say, man, that as far as Bam, you're 100% right. It's very similar to Rodman. Rodman actually won Defensive Player of the Year. He was the only player ever to win Defensive Player of the Year to average less than 1 block and 1 steal. And so what they started doing is they were looking at this dude shutting folks down. Period.
Right.
Like it's like you're not gonna see stats.
Right.
But he's very similar to Bam as far as that versatility, the lateral movement, short area quickness. I mean, it's ridiculous as far as what they almost look like, 6-7 foot guards. Like it's crazy. But July, what do you think? Do you want to react to his did I just lose you? Okay, no, you still there. You want to react to Wilkes? You say your team one more time, just all 5 real quick, Will.
I got Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Jayson Tatum, and Bam Adebayo.
Oh my God. Go ahead. We have the same team, exact same 13. But go ahead, July. What is your reaction first to him?
Well, as far as Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, I mean, I got them on my second team. He got them on their third team. So can't really say much about that. Of course, since I don't have Jokic on my first or second team, I have Jokic on my third team.
Okay, thank God. Right. I was gonna say, man.
Not gonna speak much on that. I actually got Siakim. I picked Siakim. I picked Tatum over Siakim. I got Siakim on my third team. But the big one here, I don't have Jimmy Butler. Definitely don't have Jimmy Butler. I got Brandon Ingram.
Wow.
The reason I got Brandon Ingram is because, first of all, either him, I don't think they're going to give it to Pascal. They might give it, it's a possibility they might give it to Pascal, again, as a most improved player. Brandon Ingram, since he came back from injury with the Lakers, this dude he stepped his game up tremendously.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know what was it, but his mid-range got better. He started to drive better. He started to drive and kick out better. I mean, this year, basically, he up to 46% shooting, averaging close to 25. I mean, bro, before Zion came back, Brandon Ingram was the man.
He was running it. And he could play point. He's so tall, and he's playing point, like Lamar Odom or something.
Right.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's like a skinnier version of Kevin Durant, but
it is. I mean, it kind of feels like it, but better. Like, he can dribble like a point guard.
What's crazy about that is that you can even get skinnier than Kevin Durant. But
that's crazy. The reason I got Ingram over Butler because But don't get me wrong. I'm kind of having trouble. Butler's probably the most important player on the Miami Heat, but I'm kind of having trouble to see if he's the best player. I think that center the best. I think that center the best player because what y'all was saying.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, the dude won skills competition. I think he won skills at the All-Star. So, I mean, this dude is lightning fast, beating people like Trae Young and stuff on skills competitions. Nobody's seen that. Like, what kind of center can dribble with Trae Young? Like, that's stupid.
Like, yeah, you remember what Trae Young did to Luka?
Yeah, like hitting like. Oh, yes, I agree with you, man. Maybe Bam is the best player on the Miami Heat.
And that's basically who I got. The person I got a couple of players I was kind of iffy with putting them on the team for my guards. I got CP3.
You left him off, right?
I left him off.
Okay.
I mean,
why is that? Why is that?
He's the most he's a more valuable player than Russell Westbrook right now. But I just think Russell Westbrook is the better player and putting up better numbers. And Russell Westbrook just a better player.
Okay.
But you was right, Will. I said that in one of my quick takes that if you would switch Russell Westbrook and CP3, that people would be saying Russell Westbrook ain't playing with nobody because he lost Paul George.
Exactly.
But the fact is that they did switch. And the fact is Russell Westbrook was having an MVP caliber season.
Hey, Westbrook, man, if Westbrook was on OKC, them boys might look like the Washington Generals, dog. With the Harlem Globetrotters, you know, Kyrie doing the Globetrotter on their ass and shit.
My other guard, I kind of we could get into Devin Booker and Zach LaVine. They got nice numbers, but their teams are sorry, whatever. My other guard I left off that probably could have been on the team was Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I was looking at him too.
Mike Conley, basically, he was brought there to help Donovan Mitchell in that backcourt. But Donovan Mitchell, it still seems like he's doing everything.
He's not a point guard. He don't want to play point, and they still make this man try to play point. It's crazy.
Exactly.
I agree with you, man.
I think as for my forwards, I think everything was good, but I ain't got. Oh yeah, Trae Young, my other guard.
Okay, that's somebody notable left off.
If the Hawks would just be a 30-win team, Trae Young would be on my second team right now. If the Hawks would just be a 30-win team,
he'll be there next year, bro.
Well, you know, they have like three different types of analytics, right? You have the advanced stats, then you got your basic stats, and you got the advanced analytics. And I think it's like 399 and 349 NBA players. This man Trae Young ranks dead last in defense out of all 399 players. So that's one thing he just don't do. He don't play defense.
He don't even try.
This my team. Did I tell y'all my two guards? I don't think I told y'all my two guards. I said Dame and Trae Young. That's my two guards.
Oh, you picked Trae to be on the third team.
Yeah, I picked him to be on my third team.
Oh, so what do you say that he don't play defense? What do you say to that? Like, if somebody wants to say, how can you put someone on an All-NBA team that don't play defense at all? Because don't give me James Harden. James Harden is a above-average defender. Period.
I was about to say Steve Nash.
Okay.
I was about to say Steve Nash. Except Steve Nash was just surrounded by better talent than Trae Young.
I got a question for both of y'all though.
What's up?
How do you feel about? I mean, what's your take on like we talk about Trae Young, we talk about LeBron James through the regular season, or James Harden. We talking about players who the usage rate is so high, right? So they do so much to carry the load offensively. I mean, at some point, I mean, you're not going hard on both sides of the court all game. You know what I'm saying? So I think in that situation you got in Atlanta, man, we gotta build that team with versatile defenders around Trae Young if his usage rate is gonna be that high. You can't put out that much energy, man, like on offense, and then come back and exert that much energy on defense as well. I think it hurts those high usage players.
Because the guard position is at its best it's ever been in the NBA, man.
It's crazy.
If you scoring 30 points per game, Man, you can't go back on the other side of the court and be expected to guard a second tier guard like Kemba Walker.
Right. Man, hey, 30
Hey,
and
what
9
about Kemba Walker not being on any of these teams? What do you think about that? Do you feel like he's one of the guys that maybe deserves love, or do you feel like he's just not on that level? He's not on, I don't know, maybe even a Kyrie level as far as like where do you think Kemba Walker is? What's Kemba Walker? What do you see when you see Kemba Walker? What do you feel about him?
I think Kemba Walker took a back seat to win. Because last year he was voted on the All-Star team.
Exactly.
All NBA, like Kemba Walker, he took a back seat to win.
Now he made All-Star, I think, this year too as well. So I think he made it.
Well, no, I said last year he was voted.
Right. As a starter. Right. Starter. Yes.
His numbers went down. Like you can tell his numbers went down. But he took a back seat to win. And sometimes, like, that's what you got to do.
Right.
Is it possible for us to see tournament Kemba come out in the playoffs?
It could. Yeah. When it comes time to clutch time, you can never cut out the step back in that crossover, boys.
Right.
Boston would be playing the 76ers if the playoffs would start right now. Boston would lose. I think Boston would lose that series.
And what about the Bucks? Or actually, no. Actually, I want to ask this question though, because I want to go back to Siakam. I feel like being in Canada is like tough for any NBA player as far as getting recognition, getting love, things like that. If we really look at it, Siakam don't get nearly the love Tatum gets. As far as the media darling, someone who is marketable, somebody who is like, he's just not somebody who's marketable, period. I mean, just look at the dude. He looks like, Crunchy Black off 3 6 Mafia or something like that. But as far as his actual gameplay, this dude is like, he's clutch. He's fearless. I've never seen somebody who will literally attack the rim and the defenders actually kind of look shook. As far as, what is it, like his fourth or fifth year? I mean, I feel like did he get like best most improved player or something like that? I think he got most improved player. This dude almost deserves it again. Most improved player again. Like, how do you do that? I mean, if you were to start a franchise, I got a question for both of y'all. If you were to start a franchise, you had to choose Siakam or Tatum. Right now, at their abilities, right now, what they're doing. One guy I think is one guy is obviously taller than the other guy. Tatum is a little bit better outside shooter than but I think Siakam is actually, they're about even defensively. Who do you start your franchise with? If you had to pick Tatum or Siakam, who do you start your franchise?
Tatum.
And why is that?
Although they are similar right now, I believe Jayson Tatum has a high ceiling. Jayson Tatum gonna be a superstar in the league, man. Like, and we saw it. Like, he tapped into that right before the season was suspended. I don't think Pascal Siakam is capable of producing at that level that Jayson Tatum was producing at before the season ended.
And
that's not saying that Siakam is a bad player. But I don't see Siakam getting too much better than what he is now. I think this is kind of who he's gonna be.
But what do you think about like consistency over like heat checks? Like, to me it looked like, okay, Siakam is just a consistent dude.
Right.
He's always putting up the same numbers. He's always like, you can almost count on this dude. He's reliable, right? But Tatum kind of be like down. Some games kind of be quiet. You're like, why did he have a quiet game? You don't even know why he had a quiet game. It just seemed like he just decided to have a quiet game. But in some games, like you said, this last tear before COVID shut the league down, he looks like Kobe out there. I mean, there's really nothing he can't do. So do you think there's something to be said for consistency over heating up and being someone who's like
I think it's about what drives it. Because when you look at Tatum, and y'all mentioned it earlier, Kyrie went down, right? So Tatum had to carry the load in the playoffs and do all the stuff that we talked about and discussed. Right. And then coming into this year, you get Kemba Walker, right? So his role necessarily, even though they know he's the man, his role and his positioning on the court wasn't necessarily defined. Siakam knew last year Kawhi was the man. Kawhi leaving, I'm the man. So he know what he got to do. I really believe going forward, we're gonna see a Jayson Tatum that's locked in, that's gonna be consistently putting up huge numbers. You know, I think before the season ended, that's what we're gonna see with Jayson Tatum. Like, we're gonna see that with Jayson Tatum going forward. I think that's the player he's becoming.
But July, so July, what do you think about as far as like Siakam looking like a Batman now? Because I feel like he's right. Whenever Kawhi was in Toronto, he's correct. Kawhi was the man. It was clear and it was obvious. But whenever Kawhi was either struggling, limping, like his injury was hurting a little bit, this and that, they really looked like a Wayne Wade Braun type combo where it was like a Batman and Robin. Like Siakam was not afraid in the playoffs and the finals and the semifinals. Would put up 20, 30. I mean, as far as being that second dude to Kawhi, Siakam was that guy. He was a great Robin, right, during the playoffs and during the end. And then this year, we see Siakam as a Batman. What do you think about that? Do you see Siakam as much of a leader of the Raptors as Tatum is as much as a leader of the
Celtics? Well, first I'm going to answer your question. The answer is Jayson Tatum. I think in the next couple of years, he's going to be a top 5 player easily. And like Will said, Jayson Tatum just got a higher ceiling. As far as Siakam, I mean, I'm going to just wait to judge him. I'm going to just wait till the playoffs. We seen DeMar DeRozan lead the Raptors to 60 wins. We seen Kawhi lead them to a
right around the same,
to a championship. So we seen the Raptors good in the regular season. Even when Kawhi was injured, not injured. I think he missed like 20-some games. The Raptors went 17-5 or something like that.
That was a lot of Siakam. Yeah.
But I wanted to judge Siakam, to judge where he's going to be in the next couple of years. I want to see how he performs in the playoffs. Right now, and not even the first round, because right now they're going to be playing the New Jersey Nets in the playoffs. That don't count.
That's an easy. That's a bye round. That's a bye week.
Yeah, that's a bye week. So second round, whoever the Raptors play in the second round, that's when I'm gonna judge Siakam.
Okay.
What kind of player he's gonna be?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep a close eye on Siakam, man, because I will say this as far as whenever Kawhi was out last year and things like that, doing his low managing. Man, they won so many games, and it seemed like Siakam was that dude who, I mean, he would be doing dribble moves. I didn't think I'm like, what is this dude doing? They were giving the ball and just ISO out. Like, Nate Nurse would literally call ISOs for this guy. So,
right.
I definitely got to show love as far as just, the fact that he's in Canada. He don't get a lot of media coverage, just in that. Here at Sports Debaters, we see somebody shining up there, and it is Siakam. But I think it's fair to wait till the playoffs to see what he can do as far as that. But all right, Will. I mean, so what do you guys think? I mean, that seems like we kind of covered all the subjects. We got all 3 teams laid out. For me, it kind of hurt my heart a little bit to leave out Donovan Mitchell, leave out Siakam for me because I picked Tatum over him at the last second. So it kind of hurt. But who was the person that it most hurt you to leave out? Out of all the players that you left out, who's the player that most hurt you to leave off of your All-NBA team?
I would say Trae Young, just because
you a Hawks fan, baby.
Yeah, I mean Trae Young. I'm just saying, like we already know the liability that he is defensively. Is well documented, but offensively, like this guy is ridiculous. The difficulty of the shots that he make, like it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention like July said, man, the dude putting up 30 points a game, but also dishing out 9 dimes to who? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got guys on the team shooting 20% from 3. Man, dishing 9 dimes.
How you do that? Like,
dishing 9 dimes out the people in the sports debater group. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. So, I mean, once he's surrounded, once a guy's developed, number one, he's surrounded with the right cast. I do believe Atlanta will be a better team and compete in the East. Probably not a championship contender until Giannis leave Milwaukee and come through.
Oh, okay. So he throwing out some manifestations and shit, some affirmations and shit. I will say, like Stephen A says, and actually both Stephen A and Skip saying it on two different TV networks, they keep saying the same thing. Trae Young is box office. Period. He puts butts in the seats. Atlanta is a very energetic. It's a very enigmatic city. Like, I mean, it's a lot of black love in Atlanta. There's a lot of business in Atlanta. The energy is getting positive. It seems like so Trae Young might be the perfect person to be out there. It's almost like he's creating a little LA Lakers in Atlanta. It's just like showtime. You know what I'm saying? As far as when he gets the ball. But so that's your person that you most wanted to add that you didn't add. I'm gonna point out for me, I left out both 76ers. I left out Simmons and Embiid. They did not make none of them three on my list. And I'll actually say I feel like Simmons did more for the Sixers. Again, I'm gonna say it again. He did more for the Sixers than Embiid. But for you, July, who was the person that most hurt you to be like, dang, I can't believe I left this person off out of all three NBA teams?
I mean, man. I could go Zach LaVine, but I'm gonna go Devin Booker, man.
Over LaVine?
Man, bro, this dude probably this dude don't get no love at all.
Does he deserve love though? Does he deserve love?
Like, it's his fault because he signed a contract extension when he was like in his second year in his rookie contract. Man, 26 points, 6 rebounds, almost 49% from the field. But the Suns, they're a bubble team, huh? But they ain't got no chance, but they're a bubble team.
It's over with.
But you're right, though, as far as 26 points is good. Like, if it was 23 points, 22, I would actually probably hate a little harder. But this dude is a pure scorer, pure shooter. You know, I cannot hate on the fact that, I mean, the guy can literally, he's a walking bucket. He's a walking bucket. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we got a good 30, 40 minutes in. What do you have anything that you want to add or anything that you feel we haven't covered as far as just, we have your all three NBA teams all laid out?
Well, only thing I wanted to say, because I was thinking about it while he was talking, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal really in the same position, though. You know what I mean? They both bubble teams who don't stand a chance, who both are walking bucket. You know what I'm saying? Both putting up great numbers. I mean, they're really the same person. So
who do you like better out of the two? Let's make it difficult. Who do you like better out of Booker and Beal?
Easy, Bill. I think Bill could be
Bill
more
made your third team, right?
Bill could be more of a point guard too. Booker need a point guard. He needs a point guard. Desperately. Bill could be a point guard.
Man, has Booker ever had a point guard in Phoenix though? That's the problem.
No. That's what he's saying.
When Bill had John Wall, his number wasn't there, but he was a problem. You remember that year where Washington took Boston to 7 games? And if John Wall would have showed up in that game 7, I was betting that Washington would have took out Cleveland and been in the finals there.
But just my thing though. If you take a healthy John Wall and put him in Phoenix, I think that team's better than the Washington teams though. I think Booker's a better player than Bill.
Nah.
Well, okay. Here's my difficulty. My difficulty is,
I think Bill is a better defender. I mean, offensive wise, I think they scoring wise. I'm gonna say scoring wise. I think they're the same player.
Mentally. I feel like Booker is soft mentally.
Now you just saying that because he's young, man. Y'all just saying that because he's young, man.
I've been pushing Booker since Sports Talk. I've been pushing Booker to archives. I said this is the next best shooter of our generation. I think I said that 2 years ago. I got a whole bunch of clown, and Sports Talk because we roasting that group. And I said this is the next best shooter of our generation. They talk about Curry. I said next best shooter. I'm trying to just say he was a pure shooter. But after the last 2 years, I've seen situations where he was losing the game, and then the Jazz did something where they put all the best defenders on him, and they wouldn't pass the ball or something. They didn't want him to get a record and stuff. But Booker be losing games, still trying to get individual records and stuff. And then the other team is so disgusted by it they want to stop him. That's not, to me, that's crazy. Like,
hey,
you're not acting like a winner.
If you know you're not going nowhere, man, you might well get you.
Get you some stats up. I mean, it pays money-wise. But can we say the same thing about, like, that kind of hurt Melo? You get a huge paycheck, have a great season, then you look back on your career and you're like, man, at least I wish I would have competed for just one chip.
Right, I agree with that.
So that's why I'll say Beal over Booker, because I feel like Beal is just a dog. When it comes to actually buckling up and winning the game, I feel like if they were head-to-head, I feel like Beal would eat Booker's blood. He would take that man's cornbread.
I agree with that. I mean, I think the take that July made with Beal probably being a little bit better defender than Booker, I think that kind of sealed the deal. But I would also say I do think offensively they're both amazing, but I think Booker with his size, man, he can really bully small guards on the block though. You know what I mean? And I think that's big. Like
his footwork in the post is amazing too.
Right. So I don't know, man. I just like Booker.
6'6". Booker 6'6".
6'6", 6'7", huh?
Yeah, he's like almost like Klay Thompson. Like about to.
How tall is Bill? 6'4"? 6'3"?
Bill like what?
6'4", 6'5", I think. But Bill got hops though. It's crazy. Bill be dunking on folks.
He's a better athlete for sure. I give him that.
Hey, Reezy, why we can't look at Melo now that's chasing the money? Why can't we look at Melo how we look at Jimmy Butler right now?
Well, okay. I mean, Butler right now is, I would say, either at the tail end of his prime or past his prime, right? Mm-hmm. And he went to a team. I'll tell you this. He did get the rumor of being a cancer. As far as the media took his side, like, oh, yeah. You know, Minnesota Timberwolves, they soft, right? They all soft. Andrew Wiggins is soft. Anthony Towns is soft. So everybody took Butler soft. But Butler had issues in Chicago. He had issues with Thibodeau in Chicago. He had issues with Thibodeau in Minnesota. He had issues with the squad that came out later with Brett Brown and 76ers. So maybe Butler is maybe it isn't all 100% positive. Maybe there is more to it where he is a little bit of an asshole. You know what I'm saying? And maybe Pat Riley is the perfect person to bring that out, or the perfect person to say, hey, you fit what we doing. Yeah, I'm going to make y'all run extra laps. And if anybody wants to talk shit, I'm going to have Butler regulate you guys. That Butler's my new pit bull. So I do think you have a good point as far as a great player that hasn't won a ring, but I'll say the one thing that gives me Butler over Melo just a little bit, Melo's a better player, period. But one thing that Butler over Butler, as far as to his credit, is that this whole asshole streak of all these negative, this trail of teams that he left, he has a chance to do something special in Miami. So he has a little time. His window is open a little bit more. Skinny Melo can win it, but he won't win it as the lead guy. Like, he'll win it with Dame being the lead guy if they win. Right now, Butler has a chance. He has a small chance to do something special with Miami, with Bam and all these boys, and Tyler Herro. I love watching that Miami squad play basketball.
I think that's Miami team, the only team the Bucks haven't beaten this year, I think.
That's my dog horse.
That's crazy. Like, they beat good team. I think they beat the Clippers too before. So yeah, I will say Melo is a better career, but if Butler can somehow upset some people and do some things, they have a chance to at least make some noise or do something special out there. But yeah, man, I think that's time, brother, because people blowing me up. I got some other engagement. I know you got a thing to be too, Will. But I want to say, man, thank you guys for joining. Did y'all have any last words? Anything you want to add? Or
shout out to Nick Arnold, man. Shout out to Nick, man.
Okay. All right, and shout out to sports debaters, man. We appreciate all the participation. People making good posts. There's a lot of good commentary. I mean, we get some heated discussions and people are still being respectful to each other. So I want to say I appreciate the level or the quality of debate, as far as we actually bring in some intellectual points. You know, there's always going to be trolls. But we actually got some good posts where I'm like having like thought provoking. I'm like, damn, let me look up some stuff. I'm Googling stats and shit just so I can argue. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to say the group is getting better, man. I think we just hit over 2,160 members, and that's crazy, man. So that's crazy. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you, Wilt, for being a very knowledgeable guest, man. You're definitely one of the top echelon guests so far, man. I'll say that.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. I'll hold you guys.
All right, now.
All right.